CatSynth TV.
Hey everybody, CatSynth TV, and we just got back from watching Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. And I have to say, this was the best of all three of the sequel movies. It was a cohesive story, it was an original story, and boy was there a lot of story. This movie starts out extremely fast-paced, and while it does slow down a little bit, it just keeps going and going. It's as long as Episode 8, 2 hours and 20 minutes, but it felt a lot faster because things never stopped. Of course, as expected, we did see the return of Emperor Palpatine, but again, it was done in an original way that we didn't necessarily expect from the trailers. And of course, we got to see all of our characters from the previous films and from the previous trilogies come together. So when you put this in the context of all 9 films, you could say that 4, 5, and 6 had a story arc, and then 1, 2, and 3 actually expanded on that story arc. It's interesting to note that some of the early sketches and concept art that George Lucas made for a possible sequel trilogy seemed to have made its way into this movie. It almost felt like they crammed 2 movies into one. But it does feel like it connects much closer than Episodes 7 and 8 to the original trilogies. Okay, so we'd like to share a few more details about this film with you now, but remember, there will be spoilers. So there are some very emotional moments in this film. Of course, a lot of that is around Leia's character. Now, she does die. We expected this would happen, but it happens in a way that is really important to the story because it relates to the redemption of Ben Solo as Kylo Ren. Now, the Star Wars movies have always been about family and downfall and redemption. It's a recurring theme. And this movie hit all of those beats, but it hit them really well, with a really good rhythm that really brings the whole story of the Skywalker saga together. And of course, there were some touching moments with other characters. We saw C-3PO make a major sacrifice. Now, it wasn't quite what we expected from the trailers, where we thought he was going to end his life. He does actually come back. He just had a memory wipe. But it's still very touching to see that and to see how he grew to be able to think and make that choice. And of course, they gave us an emotional moment when we thought Chewbacca died, another beloved character from the original trilogies. But this turned out to be just a fake out, and he came back for the remainder of the film. Now, of course, it's another common theme of Star Wars that no one ever really dies. And we did see that, of course, with Emperor Palpatine. But we also saw that with Luke Skywalker returning as a Force ghost. We saw that with Leia's body disappearing, and with Ben Solo's body disappearing as well. The one that we didn't expect was to see a return of Han Solo. Now, it's unclear whether this was just a memory of Ben Solo's, whether this was a projection of his through the Force, or whether it meant that Han Solo was himself strong in the Force. But it was nonetheless a really nice surprise. Now, the theme of family also continues into the questions around Rey's parents. We were left in Episode 8 with the idea that her parents were nobodies, which set up the concept that anybody could be powerful in the Force. Now, of course, Episode 9 throws some curves into that about who these characters, Ben Solo and Rey, really are, who they are the grandchildren of, but we'll leave that for a future video. So to wrap up, I thought this was a great film. I really enjoyed this ending to the Star Wars sagas. I'm definitely going to go see it again in the theater as well as on DVD when that comes out. And I'm going to be thinking a lot more about how this connects to the other stories and even to the other parts of the Star Wars universe that we've been introduced to, perhaps even The Mandalorian. Do you have any thoughts about this film, about Star Wars in general, or questions you'd like us to talk about in a future episode? Please let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Check out more at www.catsynth.com, and please subscribe to CatSynth TV.